Hello, today's video is an introduction into Combatants, a new work-in-progress game that has been open testing for around 3 months. From what I know, the group working on it is a very small group, each doing their own part. For example, Hazaze, the most active developer, is responsible for pushing out updates and generally the coding of the game, along with some of the animation work. The developer in terms of sound effects and music is Cynet, which along with Team are two more developers which have been helping with animation, along with Hazaze, which are Domor and Kichu. Now let's move on to the characters. At the specific moment of making the video, which is November 17th, there are only 3 characters, Sub-Zero, Dio and Scorpion. Now before we go for a showcase of their abilities, let us first see some of the more basic stuff such as evasives and the movement of the game. For movement, you have plenty of options to run around with. One of them, and the most common way, is dashing, which has a small cooldown of 6 seconds, which isn't too long of a cooldown, along with wall running, which costs stamina to use and is situational at best. Evasives are actions you can use to get away from your enemy in case of an incoming attack. There are plenty of variants to use to escape, such as dash to dash away and jump to escape from above. Of course, along with those, there are combat variants, which are dash attack, which you dash forward while charging up a punch, and jump attack, which you jump and land down with extreme force, which guard breaks your opponent. Now for the characters, let's start with Sub-Zero's passive, Frostbite. Hitting an enemy with multiple moves within 4 seconds applies Embreated, which increases damage taken. Ice Slide. As the name implies, you slide in ice and enemies who are hit are frozen. Ice Sword. A sword of ice is thrown, and if you hit someone, it freezes them and knocks them back. Frostbite Bleeds. Rapidly attacks the space in front of you with freezing cold attacks. Ice Rain shoots a barrage of raining ice. Glacial Uppercut attacks with a glacial covered uppercut. Icebreaker grabs a target, throws them to the ground and repeatedly attacks them, then punches them away. Icebreaker Miss. If a target is not enraged, Glacial Punch will be thrown towards the direction the player is facing, which can freeze enemy players. Frigid Rush. Rushes towards an opponent. If successfully landed, grabs the enemy and throws them through the ground, then slams them into the ground after a short upwards throw. And here's a small little combo for Sub-Zero. Cinder. Every 5th attack causes the enemy to be set on fire. Flash Kick performs an upper kick, throwing both the enemy and you upwards. Fire Punch punches the space in front of you with a fiery punch, causing an explosion. Double Slash performs 2 circular slashes while sliding forwards. Counter counters the enemy attacks with a pair of your own. Demon Grab dashes forward and grabs the enemy by the throat and launches them backwards. Kunai Grabs throws a kunai, which, if successfully landed, grabs the enemy and brings them towards you. Ultimate launches the enemy upwards and then grabs them and body slams them to the ground. Hellfire spews out fire towards the enemy, presumably from hell. Molten Slash performs wide swings of his kunai at the end, slams it into the ground with a massive explosion. Ego. If user drops under 35% HP, which equals to 75 HP, they enter Ego form, which increases damage down by 20% and reduces damage taken by 10%. As Dio, to summon your stand, you have to press Alt. Spin Kick. As the name implies, a spin kick is performed. Time Skip. Momentarily stops time to teleport around. Finisher. Karate chops the enemy. Knife Throw. Throws a pair of knives, or as I've written, random balls you go. Life Drain. Grabs the enemy and rips their heart out while throwing them away. Time Stop. Zawardo. Barrage. Barrages the enemy with punches and at the end uppercuts them. Time Counter. Stops time and counters the enemy with multiple attacks. vampiric knives, jumps in the air while throwing knives towards the enemy. If they successfully hit, he heals for a portion of the damage. And this is the end of the character showcase. From what I've learned, there will be another character that will be added soon, hopefully somewhere within maybe the month. Other than that, I would highly suggest that you guys check out both the developer socials and their Discord server, which will be in the description, as well as the game itself, obviously. I myself have found it very enjoyable, so much that I've gotten the #1 spot on the leaderboards. If you guys see me in your server, please do say hello, and if you want, I will gladly accept a 1v1. That's all, have a great morning or afternoon, and see you all later.